Recreation Advisory Board meeting. Roll call.
Erin Angel.
Here.
Scott Conlon.
Here.
Thomas Davis.
Here.
Thank you. Sam Libby.
Here.
Hannah Malloy.
Here.
Nicholas Novello.
Here.
Brandy Bradshaw Reyes.
Not yet.
Not here yet. And Council Liaison Sean McCoy is not here today.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to approval of this month's agenda. Were there any adjustments that we wanted to make to the agenda? Look at that staff here too. Okay. Well, I want to call my first motion. I move that we approve the agenda as is. A second?
I'll send it.
All right. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Tom, are you going to vote verbally or hand raise?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Okay. Great. All right. Now we need to move on to approval of previous month's minutes, and we have 2 months to approve here because I guess we skipped the approval at the June special meeting, which is totally fine. So let's start with the May 12th, 2025 meeting. And that's in the packet on the second page. Is there any corrections that need to be made to the meeting minutes for May 12th? Okay. Was that a motion?
I have none.
Okay.
Do we have to do them separately? I move to approve the minutes as written.
Thank you, Hannah. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? I'll vote on that one too. Tom?
Yep.
Okay, great. We are agreed. We are approving of those minutes. All right, let's move on to the second one, which is
Brandy's joining.
okay. The June 23rd special meeting, which I was not present for. Were there any corrections to the notes from the June 23rd meeting that we want to bring up or correct? Tom says no. I like the virtual digital no. I got it. That's clear. Thank you, Tom. Okay. Eric?
No.
Okay.
No, I was thinking that that might mean that Tom wants to move to approve.
Maybe.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Was there a second? Oh, Scott's the second then. All right. All right. All those in favor? 2, 3, 4. Okay, and Brandy as well. Okay. Aye. Okay. And then I will abstain because I wasn't there, and I wanted to do that. Okay. But the motion still passes. All right. We're going to move on to public invited to be heard. We have a public invited to be heard for today.
We do not.
We do not. We're just moving through this agenda. Okay. Okay. We're going to move on to the old business, which is going to be the 4th of July event review, which is really exciting. And then I think Ben, you're going to...
That's
Take
it.
a lead on that.
Yeah, I don't have a presentation, but I have some notes here, so I want to talk about it. Did anybody go? Who's here? We had, Sam estimated 18,000. I estimated 20.
Wow.
So
Let's try.
it was definitely double what we had the first year. It was packed, but it actually didn't feel too packed. I think we more than doubled the space the way we set it up, and I think it allowed for quite a bit of spreading out. And, didn't feel like people got stuck too much, especially moving the inflatables, kind of spreading those out to different spots. That became such a bad spot the first year. We had 3 live music stages, one on First, which it was not as well attended as we would like, and we have some ideas about that. It kind of got blocked by the other stage, so people didn't know really they could go down there, and so we learned a lot, obviously, this one. We put the firecracker stage kind of right at the corner of that parking lot down there, the southwest corner facing into the parking lot. And then Whibby did music also. So we had 3 stages of music going. People really enjoyed it. I think, I know I did. You know,
Yeah, Ben got the D52, his
Yeah.
cover band there, they were great.
Pay Lady's one of my favorites, so D52 cover. It was just a really, really fun time. The music went really well that night. We didn't have conflicts with music as far as the sound. I mean, if you stood right at that corner of Whibby on the street at 2nd and Emory, you'll probably hear both right there. But if you went towards either one of them, you were in good shape. So we had park rangers, Longmont PD, Longmont Fire, all working in tandem to secure Dickens Farm Nature Area. We did not have any issues that I know of, and I don't think you had anything.
No, again, with this new change with how about too, Rangers are under a different work group, but I was still over with them because also last year they felt a little shorthanded, and we had some folks from ecosystem management who went down there and kind of helped with that as well. So I think the public was really pretty, once we just started talking about being a fallout area and stuff for the fireworks and a little bit of environmental stuff work, but really was this fallout area for the fireworks and drones. People were pretty receptive to that, and felt like everyone found spots on one side or the other pretty easily.
Yeah, that went very well. The expanded footprint, also, in addition to having Whibby, the way we expanded the footprint, it included also 300 Suns, Valor Peak Distillery. We also tripled our number of food trucks and still had big lines. That's something we learned a little bit. We put some food trucks on first, and if you went down there, you could get right in. But if you were on second, kind of right next to that big parking lot, it became really heavy lines. I walked by multiple times trying to tell people, hey, there's this, and this, and I get like one person to go. I'm like, okay, it's half an hour here, and 1 minute here. Feel like that went really well though. I think we probably had enough if we space them out and people are informed. We also had additional liquor sales, different bootstrap. We had a wine sale. Whibby had their portable one. Left Hand was out there. They're all on Emory lined up. That they all seemed to be really happy. A little bit of a tick at the beginning. We didn't quite get our security guys on time. It was a little frustrating, but not too many people behind the scenes saw our issues with it. We got it going, so we adapted. Drone show, first time a female pilot-led student team ran Longmont's Independence Day, any drone show from their group. Says Sam Martin, it says landmark for gender inclusion in the district's innovation center. So that was a big step for them to have a female be in charge of that whole show. And it was designed and executed entirely by high school students. It was bigger and better than it was the first year. They did an amazing job. I'm floored at what those guys can do.
I'm
Just
honest.
high school. It's if you haven't seen them do a drone show, try to find it because it's really cool. They shifted it a little bit, and I remember we talked about this, so I'm wanting maybe to shift it back for next year, but we'll see. And of course, then we had our fireworks display launching from fire training, visible to all of our areas for sure. Masses of people in the Best Buy area, Dick's, Martin Street Bridge. I know Rec Center and museum areas are full of people. So not just the 18, 20,000 people in our area, it's almost countless of
It was visible from my backyard,
Good.
and it was really nice to just be able to sit in your own backyard,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah. We had that in Erie years ago. I think we, as far as no real safety issues, I think we had a couple little fires.
A couple of
but they
spot
were-
fires again. I think I'll handle this with all the recreation stuff, but lessons learned from last year, the Rangers basically were in their Ranger gear doing patrols, and then when the spot fire hit, they had to change into their fire gear and stuff. This year, the minute the drone started, they switched over to their fire gear. They had their backpack sprayers and their gators already, and it was not very long before they put everything out. So a couple of spot fires, but taken care of really quick. The fire was right there helping out too.
Yeah, and I felt like last year the fireworks it seemed like several of them were a little bit low. This year, there were really only a couple from my point of view at least. Thought it went real well. I'd like to see them hurry up the middle a little bit more.
How long do you think that was?
It was 23 minutes.
It was, okay, thank you.
With little kids jumping around.
Yeah, I didn't say, but yeah.
In my opinion, it could have been 17 or 18 minutes.
Yeah,
And
I think so
just
too.
increase the frequency in the middle.
Yeah.
I said that the first year, so they heard it. And I don't know if there's a reason they can't, or the company can't do that. I don't know. But
Okay.
the beginning was amazing. The finale was amazing.
Yeah, the finale was
It went off
amazing.
very well. But I think it gets a little bit lengthy. That's just my and other people's opinion too.
You can come to my backyard next time. I have no problem.
My family made it down. They're
Okay.
sitting in the parking. They brought their chairs, brought their bikes down. All in all, it was a really nice day, nice event. It wasn't horrible hot. It was certainly warmer. I think it was around 90, which is, this summer we'll take 90 as opposed to 98, 99. So, any questions about it or thoughts if you were around? I mean, I'd love to hear suggestions. I have a whole list of my things for next year.
I had a great time. The sound syncing didn't work for part of it for some reason. It was on one of the stages near the railroad tracks, had the singing for the drone show. And then it stopped partway through, but because a whole bunch of other people brought speakers and everybody was trying to figure out what was going on and who they should be listening to, I guess. So
I agree. we honestly didn't really know anything about that.
oh, okay.
And so that's absolutely on my notes for us to understand what they were going to do, be a little bit clearer, and I think get message out a little bit better on that one.
Yeah, it's like a YouTube that they recorded, and
Yeah.
I guess next year they're gonna have the LSO record it, so it's the LSO doing the fireworks.
Cool.
Music.
Yeah, definitely keep advancing, but yeah, that's what we saw. Thanks, Scott.
Okay.
Anybody else or thoughts we're already looking forward to next year. The space is not perfect. I know everybody would agree with that. It is a challenging area to do it. There are a whole variety of reasons. We did add in a couple more businesses. That's more voices in our meetings, and that can be a struggle because everybody knows a lot, and trying to get all those voices heard can be hard at times. But it did go very well, and we already have our plans for next year. So it was a good time.
I just say, having been part of it last year more on the natural resource side and being down there and trying to be a participant after the fact, I think you guys did a great job, lessons learned. I think, food truck lines and alcohol and all those other pieces that were just so challenging and space needs. I thought it went so much smoother this year.
One thing
The gates.
The gates went very well. The way we did that after kind of a little bit of hiccup getting started, not our issue, but we did get it going. One of our main concerns is if they build in the north part of that parking lot, there's a dirt area that we have heard they're going to build. And if they do, that wipes this out. We can't do this there. Don't know what we'll do then, but we'll plan as if we're going where we're going. Yeah, we have different ideas that I'll hold off from putting out in public right now. But yeah, that's what we've got some concerns. But again, really, really fun day. I know our staff really enjoyed it. So
I wanted to ask, and forgive me because my memory is fading on this. There was a different permit this year than last year for purchasing.
no.
Okay.
We were trying to do a different permit.
Okay, that changed.
Yeah, so we were told that the city could secure the permit through
Right.
our liquor license, the museum liquor license to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
It had it in the instructions on the application that would be okay. When they got the application, they said it was not okay. So that was very frustrating. 300 Sons picked up the slack there, and we got them replaced in, and the state worked with that very easily. So it ended up being a festival one, just like the year before when we had pulled that.
So it was like
And we would much rather hold that than have one of the businesses be responsible for that entire thing, but
Yeah.
Anything we
It's
learned,
kinda all we can
anything
do.
we've learned on how we can do that next year, if that's what we want, or is it?
Not yet. Not yet. We feel like there's, well, it's frustrating because they set the whole festival system up so they would make it a lot easier for people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why is this particular type of license not allowed when these others are?
And there's no like
So it's-
reason. There's no like.
We weren't given any reason other
Huh.
than it's not on there. And, you know, I was dealing with the state at times, so. We do hope to try to at least be able to have our voices heard. I know Robin Wibby was part of the group that drafted that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm hoping that she can go back in and say, hey, what's going on with this? Why can't we do this? But we'll see. Because it's a lot better situation if we hold the liquor license as the city.
Right. Okay.
I was gonna add, I went to the Roosevelt event.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
make the main event, I went to the Roosevelt, and it was a much better setup than previous years. I don't know if that was by design or.
Did you go to
accident.
Roosevelt the previous year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I remember that there was a lot more like sponsor tents in the middle of the lawn in previous years, and the orchestra was off towards the parking lot, and it was like a little tighter. This year, having them in the what do you call it, band shell or the pavilion?
Yeah, the pavilion.
And having it all open in front of people just worked really nicely, and the cannons were over on the side, not in the middle, and just was a really good setup this year.
Good. I will let them know that. I rode by. I noticed the difference on my way into.
Yeah.
to
And
our event.
first runner-up picnic.
Oh,
In our midst, a picnic winner.
I think only
Wow.
4 people got signed up for it.
Okay,
But you were third from last.
Yeah.
that is, okay, what was your theme?
I don't think we really had a theme. It was, we just, it was actually a friend of mine said, no, he'll sign up. His name is Scott Conway, and that's how I got signed up. So we had a chalkboard of like, where did your family immigrate from? I think that was like our only close thing to a theme. That's about it for our spot. But we're doing a home tour for the LSO too. So 2 of the board members were like, hey, you should be signed up for this. So I think that's part of what happened. as well.
That's really
But
cool.
thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
They seem to have settled into using Roosevelt at this point, and I think that's fine. I mean, obviously the parking and getting around there is so much easier than Thompson, even though Thompson had its own by it for sure, which
Yeah.
was very good. Roosevelt definitely offers more options. The setup is so much easier for them. And I think like them, like us, they learned a lot that first year and have made some modifications, so it sounded like it really paid off.
Yep.
All right. That's all I got.
Cool. Well, we'll go.
Anything from Tom and Brandy before we move on? Oh, this is fine.
Nothing for me.
Okay, Brandy. Thank you. Nope. All right, got the digital X. Got it. All right, let's keep moving then. Taylor, you're gonna walk us through the Nature Kids program. Is that right?
Yeah. A
Right.
little update.
Excited about this.
Totally. Let me pull up my PowerPoint. Oh, and I'll share it. Ready for you to Zoom. Over here.
Bottom center.
Aha, thank you. Sharing is not done. Request has been sent. I assume that's you, Veronica. Yeah. Thank you. Sweet. Cool. Alright. Alright, cool. Nature Kids update. I think the last time I updated y'all was back in like February before the land swap stuff really took off. So it's been a little bit. Definitely some good updates. So get this out of the way a little bit. Okay. So just some background because it's been a while. In early 2024, we formed this sort of community impact group called Nature Kids, and it's ourselves, Boulder County, Thor Nature Experience, and then a variety of organizations here in Longmont who wanted to have an impact on youth equity in the outdoors. We began holding quarterly meetings. The idea was to get this group of representatives from local agencies and nonprofits who might be involved in this GoCo Generation Wild funded program, 2026 to 2030. This is a program that's been funded in Lafayette over the past, I think, 7 years now. Erin, do you know if that's right?
Longer, almost 10.
Okay, almost 10 years.
Something.
So yeah, super successful in Lafayette. GoCo asked Thorne to join up with us and get something started in Longmont for 2026 to 2030. So this group kind of took form well before the actual grant application was due to sort of start thinking about things and get a real good idea together. So in 2024 and then also this year, we've done 2 years of pilot programming. This is not funded by GoCo. This is funded in part by Thorne and then also by the By a Nature Everywhere grant, totally separate grant. The idea was to determine public interest, build community trust, and identify existing gaps in program before we go for like the big bucks. And then summer 24, we did a big bilingual pre-programming community outreach and surveying process. And the report was created in 2025 based on the data we collected. I think they surveyed 500 some youth and families in Longmont. Trying to identify community priorities, barriers to access to the outdoors and outdoor programming, and also assess cultural values. And then spring 2025, so just recently in May, Nature Kids Community Impact Group internal proposal and peer proposal evaluation took place. So basically, everyone in this group who'd been talking for a couple of years proposed their idea for programming. And those ideas were taken, reviewed internally, and reviewed by Thorne. And using all of that, we put a really great proposal together for GoCo that sort of covered every gap that was identified by the community outreach and surveying process, and filled all the gaps that GoCo wanted us to fill with this programming. So, and I should say, GoCo was involved in this whole process, so the application has been submitted. It won't be approved by the board until September, but we sort of have the unofficial go-ahead because GoCo was at our meetings, helped us develop this, and has sort of given us the unofficial thumbs up.
But September, you said we should know?
September 18th is official board approval. So yeah, coming up, which is great. And then, well, I have a timeline coming up. So yeah, community identified priorities. So during that surveying process, we came up with 5 big priorities. Cultural connection, so programs that elevate personal and family cultural traditions or that provide exposure to new cultures and communities, including multi-generational experiences and opportunities to learn from and with one another. Health and wellness, programs that intentionally address physical and mental well-being, including safety in the outdoors, spaces for respite, nutritional education, therapeutic activities, and other programs focused on demonstrably improving physical and mental health. Education, programs that provide exposure to new activities and places that foster knowledge of and confidence in the outdoors, including stewardship, career pathways, and indigenous knowledge. Accessibility and access, programs that remove existing barriers to participation, are welcoming and inclusive, and that act to expand safety and comfort in outdoor spaces. And fostering agency, so programs that are community-driven and led, and that create or support avenues towards independent engagement in nature. So those are the big things we're trying to hit with our programs. So yeah, here's the timeline. This past spring, Thorne submitted the official proposal on behalf of Nature Kids Longmont Group. GoCo board anticipated acceptance is September 18th. Grant year 1 distribution is in January sometime, they said towards the beginning of the year. And then programming will actually begin, for us anyways, in April of this next year. All right, so the overview. So again, Generation Wild is the official name of the grant, 5 years of GoCo funding, 2026 to 2030. 15 agencies and organizations throughout Longmont are involved, so City of Longmont is just one of those. Other programs include accessible fishing opportunities, stewardship opportunities, hiking, rock climbing, camping, traditional use, cooking classes, some of those more cultural-based things. Though we are one of 15 in this group, we by far had the most ambitious proposal. So City of Longmont accounts for about 25% of all the funding that we're getting from GOCO, which is cool. So about $225,000 over the 5 years. This will also include some things we will have access to, even though they're not directly tied to our proposal. Creation of a youth advisory board for Nature Kids Longmont. Nature Kids continued annual community surveying and data collection, so we can make sure that what we're doing still makes sense 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Probably a Longmont Gear Library. I'm not involved in this piece, I'm not very involved in this piece, but it looks like we're going to be getting funding not from GOCO, but from Nature Everywhere, potentially, for a publicly accessible Longmont Gear Library and a gear library that these organizations can also pull from to run their programming. Access to Nature Kid group funds for providing internship opportunities to high school youth. So there's a certain amount of funding set aside every year through these 5 years that different groups within this collaborative can apply for if there's a really good internship opportunity within their programming. And then resource sharing and ongoing collaboration between all of the involved Nature Kids agencies and organizations. So what's being funded by for our program? So this is City of Longmont specific. So I applied in partnership with Children, Youth and Families, which is Hilda Zamora Hirsch. She's awesome. So her piece is the expanded Navigators program, which I'll talk about in a minute. My piece is the new Backyard to Backcountry program. And then the third piece is a piece we're sharing, which is a seasonal bilingual employee to run summer programming for both the Navigators and the Backyard to Backcountry programs. So this is the Children, Youth and Families piece, so the Navigators program. This is a weekly outdoor-focused after-school program at the Youth Center. It is an existing program, a cornerstone of the Children, Youth and Families vision, empowering youth to explore their community and the outdoors while building teamwork, leadership, critical thinking, and communication skills. Weekly activities, map reading, biking to local resources, exploring Longmont. And seasonal activities, river floats, hiking, other adventure opportunities, lessons on environmental care, water safety, street safety, collaboration, and collaboration enrich each outing. It's a really cool program. It's really, really limited right now. They don't have funding for it, and they haven't had funding for it. So their current weekly capacity is 10 to 15 youth. That is because that's what they have gear for. So they have, I think, 8 bikes. So if they're doing an outing that takes them, beyond walking range, they have 8 bikes and they're in different sizes, and the first 8 people to fit those bikes are the kids who can go. So that's the kind of thing that we're hoping to boost with this. With the expanded programming, they anticipate that they'll be able to fit all of their after-school kids into the Navigators program, so everyone can participate every single week. So the expansion will increase access to more youth year-round, add inclusive equipment for different abilities, strengthen partnerships with local educators, create additional new family-focused opportunities. So that's the other piece, is they're looking to put together some events and opportunities that can include younger brothers and sisters, parents, that kind of thing, which is really cool. And provide funding for limited sort of adventure-based opportunities in and outside of Longmont that they're not going to get from their families usually. And in the past, they couldn't get from city-sponsored programming either. So cool things like rafting, skiing, snowboarding, fly fishing, trail building, kind of getting outside of Longmont a little bit, or even within Longmont doing some of this stuff. But the kind of things that cost money to do. Educational mentorship opportunities. So a big part of their proposal was partnering with local educators for workshops, so part of their funding will go towards that, and also working with our program, and they realize that we are a resource for them too. So, and also every outing will include an educational element. So before it was just, the idea was just getting kids outside, and now it's getting outside and learning a little something, which is great. Sandstone Ranch and Open Space Mentorship Program, so nature-based recreation and stewardship for middle and high school youth. These will be guided hikes, environmental ed, trail maintenance, native planting, kayaking, rock climbing, a whole bunch more stuff beyond that as well. And weekly and bi-weekly in warmer months, it will be monthly in winter, and we'll probably have the dates change frequently for weather. And then they've also left room to build in potential for leadership and internship roles for their high school participants, and especially as the program progresses and they have sort of like program graduates who can come back and start leading some of these activities and outings, which is really cool. Backyard to Backcountry. So this is my program. This is a summer series. New multi-generational, so that means the whole family comes, not just the kids. Multi-generational bilingual program connecting Longmont families with nature through approachable, confidence-building outdoor experiences. So this runs May through September. It's backyard to backcountry because it has an optional second year. So you can join up for 1 year and then add on, you get priority for that second year. Or if you just want to do 1 year, that's fine too. It's designed to build confidence, competence, joy in nature, and community connections, and it's flexible. Families select events that fit their comfort level and availability while still sharing kickoff and closing event celebrations. So the structure is kickoff and closing events are larger, inclusive gatherings. Everyone gets together once in the spring, and everyone gets together once in the fall, no matter what your comfort level is, your ability level. Everyone gets together so that everyone gets to know each other. And then June through August, each month there will be 2 activities offered. One considered like an expand activity, I mixed these up. An explore activity, which is short, local, beginner-friendly activities, and I'll show you what that means on the next slide. And then the second is more of an expanded opportunity, so going outside of your comfort zone a bit, maybe going outside of Longmont, getting your hands a little bit dirty, that kind of thing. Year 1 will be a little bit more of a beginner course, so families focus on introductory explore activities. And then in year 2, the idea is families can take on more immersive expand experiences. Already sort of went over this, but yeah, the idea is meeting people where they're at, and then also catering to different levels of availability depending on what parents' jobs are and that kind of thing. So we also, part of the funding will go towards providing essential gear to families for single-day outdoor activities and for all of the programming that we're doing. So we want to make sure everyone is well-equipped, not just to show up to the programming and participate, but also to then take what they've learned into the outdoors with their families themselves. So this is just a sample calendar. I don't really know what it's going to look like, but this is kind of to give you an idea of what I'm thinking. So May, welcome dinner and nature walk, or some sort of group outdoor activity that's immersive and gets people talking and communicating with one another. June, the explore activity, something like a container planting workshop, something really low key, something in one space, no movement needed, but gets people's hands in the dirt working with plants, and something they can take home, which is cool. June, this is the expand activity, so the sort of more advanced, if you will, activity, pollinator garden planting and stewardship. So a little bit tougher work, but similar idea. July, something like wildlife tracking walk with rangers and or open space wildlife staff. The expand activity, outdoor first aid and navigation, like scavenger hunt or something at Button Rock. So something a little more, a little bit grittier and probably a little bit longer. August, Indigenous storytelling, art and nature, and that's in partnership with a nonprofit that we will be working with, Harvest of All First Nations. And then for others, seed collection, picnic, fun rock preserve. And then the idea is September, everyone gets together for either a day trip or, if they're comfortable, an overnight camping opportunity and dinner at Calwood. All right, and then the bilingual season coordinator. So, position, purpose, and impact. So the hope is we want this position to be, or this position is key for equitable access. It ensures that Spanish-speaking families feel welcome, supported, and able to fully participate in all of these activities. Cultural responsiveness, so bringing relevant communication and cultural understanding into every interaction, so not just at the events themselves, but also in emails or in phone calls, coordinating around the events. Consistency, so just serving as a trusted, familiar point of contact for youth and families across both programs. And then barrier reduction, so helping participants navigate systemic and logistical barriers to outdoor engagement. And then key responsibilities, coordinate program logistics for navigators and backyard to backcountry, build and maintain relationships with families throughout the season, support event delivery through bilingual communication and cultural guidance, foster continuity, belonging, and excitement for ongoing participation. So this piece is funded through 3 years via GoCo. So that's something that we're going to have to look at in 3 years and figure out how to fund it internally or find some other option. But the hope is that by year 4, programs will have really strong impact data, stories, community support to sustain the role internally. And that would be split. The idea is it would be split evenly between children, youth, and families and open space. And expanding seasonal bilingual staffing over time will strengthen program logistics, support culturally responsive growth, embed equity into daily operations. So the idea is that we want this to be like, this piece really makes these programs sustainable beyond the 3 years, beyond the 5 years. So trying to embed this into our current operations. And yeah, flexible allocation of hours between children and families and open space allows it for us to respond to seasonal needs, although summer is just going to be heavy. Why it matters, we've already kind of gone over that. But here's the important piece. Currently, the stewardship program has no Spanish speakers and therefore cannot run high-quality bilingual programming. And that's just a fact. There are 3 of us. Our volunteer coordinator has been taking conversational Spanish classes at Front Range Community College, but we can't effectively run Spanish programming yet. So this piece will really help with that. And that's it. Any questions?
Let's start with Tom and Brandy, if you have any. Make sure you guys are included.
I just wanted to share that's pretty well thought through. You kind of addressed some things that I was writing down as you were bringing them up, so great work.
Awesome.
I don't have a question. I just want to say this is amazing, and I'm really, really excited for it.
Cool. Thanks, Brandy.
Love validation, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a good sign.
So is Navigators going to run through summer as well, or is it just after school program?
Great question.
That is a good question. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Sorry, that one's Hilda's, so I don't know as much about Navigators. I assume, because I know I assume that it will run through the summer.
Okay.
But I don't know for
Person's
sure.
going to have a hard time in the summer.
It's gonna be busy, yeah. The idea is, because it's a seasonal bilingual position, we have a certain number of hours allocated, and they will probably work part-time in sort of the spring and then full-time during the summer, because there will definitely be 40 hours worth of work to do
Yeah,
during the summer.
because that's 2 weeks of work, just explore and expand in the summer,
And then weekly activities with Navigators. I mean, the thing with Navigators is because they're running the program currently, they already have 3, I think, staff working on it already. Backyard to backcountry will be a totally new thing. They'll have my support, they'll have Ashley's support, they'll have the support of other staff here for each individual event. But but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of new work, which is why like getting that piece funded is essential.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I think it'll be worth it. I hope it's worth it. Totally.
So yeah, and great job with the grant writing and like earning more funding than everybody else.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yes, good for Longmont. Similar kind of question to Aaron's. You had mentioned that the funds begin distribution in January and the program begins in April. When you say the program begins in April, you mean the B2B program?
Yes, sorry.
Because Navigators is running already.
Yep, Navigators is running year round already.
Right.
So yes, there's no start and end date to that.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
And then I had a couple more, unless they're...
Go ahead.
Okay. The year 1 and year 2 programs makes sense that you have different levels. You're going to be running those concurrently, though?
Correct, yeah.
At
I
all
mean,
times?
it will be, because we're running 2 events through the summer, the Expand and the Explore, the idea will be that in theory, year 1 you can do just the Explore events, and in year 2 you can do just the Expand events. But people will show up at different levels, so both opportunities will be available to everyone all the time.
I see. So you'll allow people into kids into year 2
Yep,
if they're more advanced. Okay.
totally.
That makes sense.
Yep.
It also just seems like a lot to juggle from a programming perspective,
Oh, totally.
but it seems like you've got it under control.
I mean, right now we run like 10 events a month anyway, so like
Yeah.
these will be more complicated events,
Right.
no doubt. We're aware of that.
Organizing transportation,
Mhm.
you know,
Totally.
activities, and the education component, and all of that.
Definitely. But yeah, it shouldn't be so much more that we can't handle it with. We're gonna downsize a couple things within our current program
Okay.
to make room, but also we're hoping that this bilingual seasonal employee will do a lot of the legwork in coordination.
Got it. Then I have one more question, and then I'll stop and talking and give everyone else a chance. The fostering agency objective, how does that blend into the program more tactically? Like, where do you see that coming in as part of the plan?
For the backyard to backcountry?
For both the Navigators program and the backyard to backcountry.
So yeah, that will be the focus of the expanded activities in backyard to backcountry, is like teaching real tangible skills, not just like the explore activities are more like get outside, have fun, get comfortable. The expand activities, things like first aid, navigation, things that they can take, and gear that they can take beyond these activities so that they are comfortable in the outdoors and have actual skills to manage the outdoors effectively.
I see.
So that's the agency piece built into backyard to backcountry, if that makes sense.
It does. I guess where I was thinking about this was like I thought of agency more as like kids leading
Oh, sure. Yeah, we
the
can talk about that
program,
too.
and I was wondering like maybe there's like after you graduate year 2, maybe the kids like become helpers
Totally.
out with the program. as
Yeah,
well.
we included that in our proposal, and we kept it vague because I don't know what that is
Okay.
going to look like yet.
That's
But
year 3 problem. Probably.
right, exactly. But that is something that we've considered, especially. Hilda and I have both talked about that with our program, is like as we develop graduates of the program, and this can be like both parents and kids, getting them back, like setting up some sort of system where they can come back as leaders.
Right.
And we have funding for staffing through the 5 years, really. So we don't have full staffing for that bilingual position
Yeah.
for 5 years, but we have some funding for staffing all 5 years. And so some of that could go towards paying stipends, for example, for someone to come back and help out. So it doesn't particularly specifically have to be on a volunteer basis.
Oh, I see.
So there is some room built in for developing something
Yeah.
once the time
I
comes.
mean, what kid wouldn't want a stipend?
Totally, yeah. And there's also the internship opportunities, potential internship opportunities
Sure.
through just like the larger collaborative. So that opportunity exists. We kept it vague.
Okay.
But I think the goal will be to try to build something in both to Navigators and backyard to backcountry in a few years.
And hopefully it won't be just kids that we're talking about that would take advantage of that. Hopefully some parents would.
And that's how it's
advantage
looked
of
in
instruction.
Lafayette.
Mhm.
There have been parents who have come back and helped lead programming, and kids who are now running some of those programs years later. So yeah, fingers crossed. The model has worked once elsewhere. The program is a little bit different, but the idea is the same. So the hope is that that will work here too.
Great.
Yeah.
Scott, Hannah, Sam.
I have just a quick question. So it sounds like Navigators has been up and running, and it's really exciting to hear they have like more need than they have capacity. So I hope that's it. With the, I want to call it B2B because it just seems like perfect. It's really, I see logos in my head already. How do you plan to drum up participation, especially if you do want like full families? It's
Yeah.
like a little.
Totally. So children, youth, and families have said they can help because they serve so many families and they have a really strong network. And I also connected with our community and neighborhood resources team, and they are also going to help with recruitment, as is Thorn, because they all have these really strong networks, and especially in lower income bilingual communities, and those are the folks that we sort of want more involved in this programming. We don't want to just put it up on Rec Track or something and like first come first served, right? We want to make sure that we're hitting those target audiences and helping the people that really need it. So yeah, working with other departments to lead those folks in.
Follow-up question to that. I think you specified the Navigator capacity. Did you say how many folks you can hold or families you can handle?
Good point. I didn't know. Yeah, in year one we're looking at 50 people total, so probably 10 to 12 families depending on size. After that we'll see. But that's the goal for year one, and that's what we have budgeted for. Yep.
I just had a quick question on the gear locker. You said it wasn't yours. Is it a different group that's managing that application?
So I believe Kristen Rudisil with REC has been working on that with Thorn a little bit. I don't know much about it.
I volunteer at the Memorial Building.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll see.
Sort of house things.
There's some serious challenges to it. Like when stuff comes back, who's going to manage it?
Who's going to check it in and go through it? Yeah.
I'm not worried about checking in. I'm more worried about who's going to clean it,
Right.
for example,
Yeah.
or repair it, but we've got some space. We're real accessible, so.
And maybe I've got some
Good
scouts.
idea.
I've got some scouts that would be interested. They have a ton of gear that they don't even need as well, and there's a constant issue of why are we housing all this gear that we can't share with the community? And so, besides 12 kayaks is one of the things I collected in the last couple of years. So, and the current Scoutmaster does not want 12 kayaks in his backyard. So I don't know if that is a future home for it, but it just at some point trying to get things like that into more community hands and not just one organization.
We'll talk about it moving forward.
That'd be great. Thanks, Ben. I know we were talking in the library at one point too.
Yeah.
Well, they already have their own.
They have sort of their own
So they
gear
don't,
checkout.
they don't have space.
Yeah.
We have some.
If it comes through, that's which I'm feeling optimistic about, but I don't know for sure. It's a $50,000 grant that would show up this year, but we would only have 1 year to spend it. So it can be spent on logistics and training for staff and also the gear, but we'd only have 1 year to spend it. So after that, maintaining it is something that we have to figure out. But that doesn't just have to be a burden on the city. That's something that Thorn and GoCo could help with going forward. Because this is a grant that we don't just like, put our proposals in, get it accepted, and we're locked into that for 5 years. Every year we meet with GoCo again and we adjust our budget based on lessons learned or whatever as things change. So maintenance stuff for the gear library, my understanding is that that will be included in that piece going forward should we get the initial funding for it to get it started. I also suggested to Kristen that we could have volunteers help with maintenance on stuff.
Yeah.
It's not a silver bullet, but maybe it helps a little bit.
Taking care of your gear is part of, learning the backcountry.
Totally.
That should be part of the program,
Definitely.
right?
Yep.
Aaron or Sam, anything?
Question got answered.
You got it answered? Okay.
Yeah, and I jumped and killed that first question.
Please do, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Anything else you wanted to ask or comment? All right, we're going to move on to the next agenda item. Taylor, if you could help us
Got it.
stick around
Oh,
because
that's right.
we are. We've talked about this. I think it was back in April or May. I think it was April. I forget. April about this board doing a retreat of sorts where we want to, do some good. We're all volunteers. We want to help out our community, and we need help, channeling that energy. Right? Is that fair to say? Right?
Absolutely.
So we're wondering how we can. What's the right fit for us as volunteers to help out? Anything I'm missing from anyone? No. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, I think David, you mentioned this to me a couple of months ago. How do you guys feel about the seed collection?
What is that?
It's okay. Yeah. So native seed collection. That's something we do really between now-ish or end of July and autumn.
Okay.
So we collect native seeds on different properties in Longmont. So in any given event, we choose like Sandstone Ranch or Dickens Farm Nature Area or Golden Ponds is a big one in autumn. We'll go out, collect native seeds that have been identified by our senior plant ecologist as being valuable for restoration here in Longmont. So we'll collect the seed, and then later that seed will be cleaned by more volunteers, potentially grown out in our greenhouse or put into seed mixes and then used in restoration in future years. So the seed collection is kind of the first part of it. It's the most fun part of it. But it's later we can bring those the kids in potentially in like seed areas or actually put the plants back in the ground, which is cool. So it's a low-key, fun, accessible activity that we can do right here in town. So that's an option. If you wanted something here in this building, we could do seed cleaning instead, which is also fun, but you don't get outside.
So reactions to that, looking around the room, and also Tom and Bernie, please chime in.
I thought I heard you say earlier that you have infinite seeds to clean.
We do
So
also
we need
have
to gather more seeds? Is the best use of our time?
We have fridges
Is it
to fill
helpful?
still,
Okay.
so
Fridges,
yeah.
As long as it's helpful, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I've done both of them many times, and I haven't done seed cleaning many times, but I've done lots of it, and they're both very fun. But you wouldn't see much of open space in a seed cleaning, but you would have plenty of time to hang out with each other in a seed cleaning building. And that would be a good time, for deeper connection and things like that. Totally.
Okay. So it sounds like you're leaning towards the cleaning and
No,
not the...
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I
I love this all.
apologize.
No, I'm trying to say both of them are pretty awesome.
Okay. There's pros and cons to each.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
trying to tell everybody else. You all are deciding, and I think they're both pretty cool.
Okay. I like the list. Hannah?
I think that sounds awesome. It's a good way to get it. I think working together outdoors it's not the chance for connection in the way of sitting across the table from each other, but working together I think always brings out hopefully the best in everyone and kind of make funny jokes and get to know each other a little bit under less formal circumstances. And I've never collected seeds, so that sounds fun.
So you're on team collection, not
Okay.
team cleaning. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm keeping tabs here.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
Both sound good to me.
Yes.
Indifferent.
Yeah. Indifferent.
Scott, indifferent. Okay.
You know what I was thinking though? Is that we talk about wanting to see another area. I mean, I doubt that seed collection is just limited to what you just said. If there's an open space that we would like to experience more deeply, great way to experience it deeply is to wade over next to the irrigation ditch and collect some seeds,
Yeah.
Yeah, sweat together.
That's probably true, yeah. I mean, this time of year and through fall, we can probably find something good to collect on most properties. If it's not like a totally degraded property, there's probably something available.
So I'm gonna lean towards collection.
Oh,
Towards
okay.
collection.
All right.
Yeah.
Update. You were going to say something, David?
No.
Tom and Brandy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a great way to be involved with it. I haven't been involved with that directly. I'll admit, every time that I think of volunteering, it's always just like, your standard corporate things, Habitat for Humanity, all that kind of stuff. So I was at a loss. I think this would be a great way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm open to either. I always like to be outdoors, so I think that would be fun, but I also would love to get to know you all, so I'm good with either.
All right.
I will say our seed collections are pretty darn social too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you're wandering around as a group collecting seed. There's plenty of time for
It's not like
chatting.
we're a lone wolf in it. No. All right, so I heard 4 either ways in difference. Did I get that right? 2 4s. Is that right? And then Aaron?
Yeah.
There's the 2 4s. Okay. And I think I'm for collection. 'Cause,
Yeah, let's do
outdoors.
collection.
I'll make sure to bring my extra allergy medication that day.
And maybe
valid point.
maybe high boots so you
And-
don't get stuff
and nice boots.
in your socks.
Yeah, it's just
Cool. Oh, thank you, Taylor.
Yeah,
This is great. We're
Yeah,
excited.
Totally.
So we still have to answer the question of when do we want to do this? And that's always really hard to navigate with 7 people's schedules and trying to line everything up. I like to lean towards the idea of doing a poll to take dates. But are there restrictions on what dates we can do this together?
Not really.
Not really.
No. If you guys let me know if you want it's usually like a 2 or 3 hour event, but whatever you guys want is fine with me. So evenings work well, or weekend mornings, but I know a lot of people have families and stuff. So
Yeah.
whatever works, or during the workday is fine. But I know you guys have jobs, so so whatever works for you guys, we can usually make work.
Okay.
So there might be some jobs that have allowances for volunteer work. I'm sure a city job would,
Does the city have allowances?
Should.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Evening probably.
Yeah, my vote would be evening. Also, just if we're gonna do it sooner rather than later than
Yeah.
temperature wise.
Yes.
Right.
Just know.
Yeah, is there a drop dead date?
No, not really.
When autumn
Except
ends?
for dark will start to be at
That's true.
4 p.m.
Yes.
in November.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we're not,
I would
yeah.
say we typically, I think our last seed collection last year was October 10th or
Okay.
something.
So,
Somewhere in September.
in
So
September,
yeah, September would be good.
Okay.
Can I suggest towards the beginning of the week?
Okay.
Would prefer that.
Okay.
Do we really need a meeting?
So I was gonna say, you're just gonna combine.
We
or
could. We
It's
could.
a substitute.
The meeting.
Yeah, we
September?
could. Hold on, though. I might.
That's the 8th.
I might need to
agenda
look and see that I might
permitting,
still be here.
right.
There's a lot of meetings.
Okay.
I like the idea of just going on the 8th if we already plan to be here.
Yeah.
We can start earlier, certainly.
We can make it a shorter event too. You could do an hour long
Should we
meeting
Jeff
and
for
a
a
2
down
hour.
that?
No, Jeff said
Collection or
he.
whatever.
No,
I've got you
September
at a
1st
wedding
looks mighty
that weekend in
dandy to
Michigan,
me.
so Jeff is covering that one, so.
Okay.
I'll be in Hawaii.
Labor Day stuff.
Okay, Jeff got it.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know,
okay.
that's-
Oh, that's right.
Imagine one of you has black seeds.
Ooh,
Yeah.
but that's Rosh Hashanah, but the autumnal equinox would be a good way to celebrate. What's that? It's called something else. It could be super pagan. On the 22nd.
Sounds like we need some help though from staff to
Well,
send out a poll.
yeah.
If it's okay with you.
Yeah. we can do
I
that.
am not here the 22nd.
What's that?
I'm not here the 22nd.
So is the 8th though? I mean, we talked about the 8th. I just wonder if everyone's got their evenings blocked already. Does that just make it easier?
We probably want to start earlier. It'll be getting dark.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Like that.
Start on the 8th at, I don't know,
5:30 or something.
4. Yeah, you can do it earlier. 5.
I can do
5.
Do we want a potluck this bad boy?
Potlucks are bad.
Or,
Like
you know,
Hard to do that. In
or,
random open space.
or.
picnic. Picnic
Well,
potluck.
Yeah, picnic potluck.
Yeah.
Or do we want to wind it up by an optional visit to the Tasty Weasel?
Yes,
I don't know what that is.
that's a better idea.
Beer.
Yeah, that's usually the.
That could be
I'm
post.
very sad that we're not
Yeah, that
doing
can't
the
be-
water
Oh, yeah.
testing.
There is a
thing that we usually do, but that winds up at, like, that's usually a city thing that I volunteer for every year, and that
Okay.
winds up at the Tasty Weasel, and it is
So 8th,
awesome.
everyone has on a calendar ready, it's a
Yeah.
good day.
Seems like 8 is the way
It's
to go.
starting at 5 o'clock maybe.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we're all here at 5 o'clock, people have time to maybe wander and give that time to do it.
Okay.
Collection time, 2-ish
Let's
hours.
do 5:30, or I
Yep.
guess 5 to 7:30.
We're going to have to like load up into.
Yeah, so.
That's true. So yeah, 5:30 to, let's say 5:30 to 7 is the actual collection.
So we'll say,
We'll meet up at
we'll
5.
start loading like 5 to 5:30 with is it okay to try and get out
Get there at 5:30.
Okay.
at
7:20?
5:30?
Okay, perfect.
Oh, well,
That's fair.
perfect, because it's still light.
Totally.
Yeah.
That gives you 5:30 until
7
Seven-ish.
and
Perfect.
then
After
post
your-
activity,
close
where
the
people
doors.
dropped off
Optional.
here, and then optional, people can meet
7:30.
over it.
Where are we going?
I'm always.
I mean, it could be someplace else. I was just saying Tasty Weasel because that's where the other one ends up.
I like 300 Sons.
And
They
it's
charge
very-
food.
We'll follow your
Yeah.
plan.
300 Sons has food.
300
Okay,
and then
300
this is
Sons
all
does
the
have
West-
good food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then
Open Monday.
post seed collection.
Great.
Are they open on Mondays?
Always down for a cocktail.
Find out.
No, I close Mondays.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
bonus.
Only restaurant.
Do a kid
All right, we can,
We'll figure out.
Pizza.
Oh.
yeah, that could be figured out on a bus or
That's
something.
Okay.
very, that's very
I have
detailed.
long
I know.
I think that's the most important detail.
Yeah. What's
It's
this?
great food.
Exactly.
You'll find out.
Must be,
Yeah, it's open every day.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.
Great.
I love it when a plan comes together. Thank you, Taylor.
Of course.
Great.
Yeah.
Wait, where are we doing the collection?
TBD,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Could you-
Just starting here and you will get
I mean, are there
There's tons of number right there, yeah.
Yeah, are there any open space areas or park areas that anyone has wanted, I mean, to explore? Because I do know, like, there are a lot of seeds out there,
Oh, yeah.
so it would be, are there any that you all have wanted to?
I'm going to collect every seed out there.
Every seed you want.
There's some we really don't want, but that's okay.
Is there a lot, like, is there an open space area that you really want to know more deeply? And like, you know, like there's ones that I'm like, whatever, you
Could
know?
we maybe on this thing that Taylor, maybe think about what seeds we need and maybe shoot out 3 options?
I see that, yeah.
Would that
Given
work?
the time of year and everything, I can ask,
Yes.
I can get a few options, send them
Sure.
out your way, and y'all can vote.
You wanna- Can you tell everyone, yeah, you know, has, like, I'm hijacking the meeting, sorry, but about the choke cherry collection, that, and then also, because you're volunteers too, so, and then also the collaboration with WRV that you've been doing, I think is pretty cool.
Totally.
I'm hearing such good things from
Are you?
my students that are doing this and things
Cool.
like that, yeah.
So yeah, real briefly, this past couple weeks, we've been busy doing chokecherry collecting. So chokecherries are a native shrub that produces berries, and there's like a 1.5 week maybe window to collect them when they're ripe, and before they get picked apart by wildlife. And the timing worked out really nicely that the Sister Cities program had their youth exchange while the chokecherries were here and ready to be harvested. So week and a half ago, we had Sister Cities with some kids from the Wind River Reservation and Chino, Japan, come out to Button Rock.
Nice.
And we had an elder from Wind River come and do like an education and like land blessing piece, and then we collected a bunch of chokecherries. And then we went out and collected a whole bunch with WRV, which is a nonprofit in town. And then we also connected with Community Fruit Rescue, who collect fruit on residential properties in town with their volunteers. And all together, and then we had a big two chokecherry cleaning events last week, and we cleaned every chokecherry that we got, which was over 300 pounds of chokecherries. And those chokecherries, most of them have been frozen, put in coolers, and went up to the Wind River Reservation to be used in like ceremony and some of their traditional uses. They went up to the Wind River on Saturday, I think, and then the remaining, we're going to be doing some like volunteer jam and syrup, chokecherry jam and syrup making events, and that will also
I didn't
go up.
know about that.
Yeah, and those will be used as like gifts for elders and things like that. So they can't grow out chokecherries up there because their soils are too degraded, and people also in the area who are not part of the tribe know that it's valuable, so they collect the chokecherries and then sell them at a higher price up there. So, so yeah, just getting free choke cherries to them is a really cool thing that we do. Oh yeah, and Channel 7, Denver 7 was at the choke cherry cleaning event, and then also the community fruit rescue. They had an event at various residents, and so there was a little news story that went out about it.
So you're famous now.
I saw that, and I saw your
Oh, did you?
picture, and I thought you should.
Yeah, we didn't get the big like City of Longmont shout out I was really hoping for in the video, but my face does appear several times.
All right.
And our logo appears, so. But it was great. It was really, really cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah. And the plan is already to do it again next year and just have it being an ongoing thing. So.
That'd be nice if we had more participation from Wind River as well.
Yeah.
More hands.
And that's part of it too is it's expensive. It's a long drive, so getting folks down here, it's 600 miles there and back, which is like you put that into mileage amounts and then you add in lodging and all that. It's expensive. So it is something we want to do more of and get more of their involvement, but to do it right, it costs money. So that's something. That's what my budget. It's a budget request for me.
Okay, got it. Well, that's really exciting, and
cool.
we're all thrilled to participate too and do what we can.
Totally.
Looking forward to it.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I just want to
Thank
say,
you.
again, you talking about being a little bit competitive, and I've sat around with other agencies in the area that try doing a lot of these things with a lot bigger staffs and a lot bigger budgets, and Taylor just seems to get it done. And I think a lot of times is those other agencies sit around and it's a group that looks about like us and thinks about what we're going to do for, underserved communities, and we take it out and present to them what we're going to do for them, and it never really gets off the ground. And I think Taylor's time working with the community and stuff has just been a great way to really kind of bring people into this program, to your point, or how we reach out. They're doing, I think, a phenomenal job of really making this really centered on the individuals and their needs rather than us trying to figure out how we just check the box. So, great job.
Yeah,
Nice. Appreciate it.
you're doing awesome. It says
Thank you.
actually, I don't know if anybody else is on the post volunteer list, but the volunteer opportunities are so fun and so diverse and such a great way to get to know other people in the community. It was great.
Yeah. Taylor has just.
An amazing job.
Yeah. It's a good job. Yeah. Well, I see. I've done.
Okay, you've done a good job, but yeah, you've done it. It is an amazing job that you have done an amazing job at your amazing job.
Appreciate it.
The whole stewardship team is just, all three of you guys are just excellent.
It's really cool.
Totally.
What you do.
So, I think it's time to move on, gang, to another exciting topic, although maybe not as exciting. Which is the merging of two organizations into one. Yeah, right. So.
Yeah, two are together, but yeah, it really is bringing all these groups together. And I'll take this a little bit, but really, I really want to give a lot of credit to Jeff. He was the one that really, was here when Parks and Rec was, a combined group. Prior to me being here, it was split, and Jeff and I have done, I think, a good job of working together with a Parks group and a Rec group. And Jeff even poked fun a lot that Stephanie and her team, they design and build great parks. My parks crew, they did a great job of maintaining them. Then recreation, Jeff's like, when they come in, we destroy them, and you have to put them back together. Now let's all sitting together around the same table and talk about how we design something that can be maintained well, that can be programmed effectively, and make sure we're trying to return the revenues to keep it maintained. I think it's just a really good spot to be in. And it's new to me, so for me, it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose on all the things I'm having to learn. The fortunate thing for me is on the rec side of thing, Ben really does a lot. And I don't know if you all really know how much Ben does. But when you look at the org chart and how many people kind of shifted over under me, I really just have to manage Ben. And but he's got, again, trying to tie in with that group and work with that group a little more. I got a chance to see he has a really great group of people too. They enjoy working together. They enjoy providing the services to the community. And again, I think they really enjoy working with the other members of the park design and park group. So for me, it's been a great opportunity. The other piece I think that's in there, you talk about merging three groups. It's always hard picking a name, and we kind of really wanted to let the community know that we really appreciate the fact that open space tax passing at 73, 74% it's something that needs to be recognized. And for this board and community recognize that, as we talk about open space, this is the group that really is involved in the open space portion of things, and that the community, I think, really deserves some recognition of the open space program too. So lots of other things we do, be it the forestry parts, the ecosystem management, I think those are all supporting in those other areas. So I think it's really a good group, good move. I don't have like all the history, but I'd love to check in with Ben, and he's probably limited what he can say about his new boss, but for me it's been great. I was just letting him say a little bit, but again, getting to get out with the rec group, they get together for lunch stuff, they get together afterwards, we've had an all hands meeting with everyone getting together and doing some team building, and I think it's been really good.
Yeah, I've been a proponent of this since I got here in '07. I saw it go apart in Lafayette. I didn't like it when I came here, and then there was some shit. Even though it was apart, there was some additional shifting, and I've always thought we're better together because we always work together no matter what, and we will always battle too. That's a part of the game. But the closer we are, just in how we operate, how we get together, just will make for smoother operations. There's no doubt. And I get a new boss for the first time in a long time.
And I've got a new boss too.
Yeah.
So
and Jeff's not going to be here forever. So I'm happy to have David as my supervisor going into whenever he decides he's done. So yeah, I think the only person against it was Veronica.
I actually get to wear my old Parks and Rec shirt again.
oh yeah, you were here when it was combined.
That's right.
Ah, very good.
She was been here since she was 8.
No
joke. But yeah, I think I can speak for all of recreation and that we're for this, and it's going to be good for our group. And I think presenting a united front in a lot of cases to other powers in the city, I think, is a good thing. And it also represents this group, frankly, Parks and Recreation. So.
And again, I'll throw there, I think, as far as, what I can bring to the table for recreation, it really is, that's not my background, but again, having worked with Danielle in the open space program, looking how, with this group and how we do long-term funding to make all of our programs sustainable, I think that's something that's going to be really important to me is working with this group on, how do we really look at what recreation needs from when we build something, do we maintain it, do we have to do a life cycle analysis that I think we need to really spend some time on how do we look at the 80% recovery, how do we try maximizing our return on that investment to those members of the community that really can afford to do it, while not shutting out those that really are looking and needing opportunities, and then long-term funding for this program. So that's what I'm really going to be looking to a lot of you that I know are much more of the recreation oriented or use those services, and then the rec staff to figure how we can really try making a strong rec program that's sustainable into the future.
Yeah, trying to get back on track, frankly, since COVID. And we've really almost hit a wall, is what's happened the last 2 years. We kind of got to this point and we continue to grow our revenues, but expenses are shooting up like everywhere in the world. And so, I appreciate David having a fresh perspective on things and angles we may take on to try to be successful, or continue to be successful, because we certainly are now. But 80% is a tough one. It really is, and it's just a number, but it's out there for us, and we feel like just what David said. We get real concerned about raising prices and pricing people out in town. That's something that we do not want to do, and at the same time, we've got revenue expectations. So we'll be talking about that again at some point here.
I was in a meeting the other day and it was actually some of the directors within the city, and Valerie Dodd was introduced as the only program that really is in a true enterprise fund where she gets to compete and she doesn't have a monopoly. So water, you have to buy city water, you have to buy city utilities. And I try to remind people that we are actually in a very competitive market too, and we have to place a cap on ourselves some way to make sure that we're equitable too, because we have a lot of private gyms out there, we have a lot of private entities trying to do summer camps, so we're trying to do that in a way that we can maintain what we have, but also really make sure we don't leave anyone behind too that needs those opportunities. So we're in even a more competitive market than Valerie, because she can really try to outcompete her competition. Sometimes we just don't have that ability.
That's a really good point. And that's a good thing too, right?
It really is. But I think it's going to take some creativity. I don't know if it can be exactly the way it always has been, and I really appreciate the group sitting there because I think there's some pretty smart people.
So I wanted to ask, unless there was other initial thoughts, I wanted to ask, so it sounds like there's some integration happening now besides updating the org charts. There's also some lunches going on, some discussions.
Some axe throwing.
Some axe throwing, that's fun, okay. Sure. Been any thought into like setting a new North Star, like a new mission, and what is like the main objective of all that everyone can rally around?
So, something Jeff and I have talked about, and one of the things that as I've talked to kind of individual groups on, how much does open space overlap with the recreation, or where's the parks development and ecosystem management tie in with rec centers. But I want us to feel like one group. And I think when Ben talked about Parks and Rec, it probably wasn't more, truly was a Parks and Rec, but now we are Parks and Rec and open space and ecosystems and greenways. And I think it's just, sorry, I get my soapbox in this too. I think it's the piece that really makes Longmont what it is. There's lots of places that have water and utilities and roads, and those are those expectations.
Yeah.
But I think this is what is the driver that brings people here to build businesses, to build, to raise families, and to spend their dollars. So I think it's a huge piece of what we do, and I think helping to set that North Star, what parks, recreation, open space really means to people is an important piece that I'd like to.
I'm a firm believer that people that come to live in places for the things that we do. Schools and recreation activities, open space, parks, all of these things. This is why people live in a place. I mean, they don't come to a place because we have a great police department, and we do. But you don't move somewhere because they've got a great police department. You just assume that it's safe.
Exactly.
But people come here, and it's a wonderful thing. But trying to make sure we can get it to everybody is quite difficult.
So I don't have an answer for you at this point and where that fits in. I think it's one of the things, we look at what we have on strategic planning is something I think is a great piece for all of us to doing, but it's also a group that has a lot on their plates, and how do we work that in, and I don't want to lose momentum either, so. Okay. Do you have any thoughts? I'd love to hear what you're...
Well, it might just go along with the theme that we were talking about, which was, making Longmont an attractive place to live. Rephrasing that a little bit, but all of those organizations are intended to do that, right? To make this place really special, stand out. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Celebrating how special we are.
Oh, you're gonna wordsmith with us?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Celebrating
All right.
how special that we are. Just expanding access to the special things that make Longmont.
Access, that's really, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to I'll throw a couple, just so you all can think about it. Taylor's program, her backyard to backcountry, I think is something that I don't think people fully recognize what an opportunity we have here. A lot of, if you look at the county, they have county open spaces. They're big and beautiful and very separate, and you got to get your car and get to them. A lot of towns have small little pocket parks and places where you take the kids, but we have that plus the greenways that connect people from their backyards to the sandstone ranches, to the golden farms. And now with Danielle's project, out to state parks and out to county open spaces. So it really is I think a pretty unique environment that I'm not sure that how many people fully realize what we have.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's fun.
That's
Any other comments or questions? I just want to ask Tom and Brandy. Make sure you guys have an opportunity. Any thoughts on this topic about the merging of the departments?
No, I think especially with everything going on right now, with everyone being suddenly again more cost conscious to everything, I think it's shows good stewardship of funds, and maybe there's a bit of synchrony and synergy that you can get out of this as well. So, yeah.
Well, that's interesting too. There's not going to be any is there really no overlap between the departments at this point, right? Or like, is there gonna be shared services across both?
We've talked about some of our executive, our admin services and stuff like that, and seeing where we can be a little bit more efficient that way, so.
Okay.
We're in infancy.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Barely keep our head up. Right?
Oh, yeah. I see where you're going. Yeah. Something I can
It's
understand.
relatable then.
It's relatable. It's clever. Scott?
So we got the critique a couple times. Last time was in June of being just the Parks and Rec board. Is there talk or thought about being the Parks and Rec and Open Space board?
I think that sounds like talk about that right there, so I don't think there's any objection, I don't know.
No.
Ben, I don't know what it takes administratively to do that,
City council would have to do that.
I mean, is this,
Well,
does
then
the
you-
group
then-
feel like it's an important piece, I guess that's where I start.
Long acronym.
But yeah, where do you stop? Because
Right.
you did
But
say like,
actually,
technology and
it's
environmental
pros.
controls.
Pro.
It's pros.
But not with
Pros.
all the advisory board.
Add
So
the
then
pros.
Ab.
No, just
Pros add
silence.
pros.
Yeah. Well, other than that.
Ooh, ad pros, yeah.
There has to be like.
Another consulting
We're
project.
ad pros.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, parks can include, a park, to me, isn't necessarily a playground. You don't have a, playground at Rocky, you know what I mean? Parks can also include open space, to me, by definition there, in there. I mean, what's y'all's new name?
Parks, open space and recreation, or Parks, recreation, open space. So.
Okay, pros,
Yeah.
pros, okay.
I think it's nice to have it in the name, and we always talk about open space.
Right.
Have for years.
we may get more public to come because then they go, oh, there's a committee for open space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll get them talking about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we just have to figure out how we're gonna pronounce it. Is it ProSab?
This is like the deliberation board.
Pro-ab,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
Probe.
Can I just quick thought? Do you think there's a real appetite in asking the city council to change our name? Because if there is, then we probably want to make a recommendation to them.
I mean,
If that's something we do.
the most important topic we talked about in the last 2 years was an open space topic.
Right, yeah.
For extensive hours of.
Well, there's also the rec center. which is
Yeah,
pretty
but
important.
for-
Okay.
Like the thing that came to this board with the most input
From
requested
Yeah.
from council was an open space
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Does it have to come from council? Can we make a recommendation that staff go to them and say, hey, we think you should rename this? And here's the amendment, and here's the text amendments to do it, right?
Yeah.
You know, anything we do is just advisement.
Yeah, it's
to-
advisement, we
to
can-
council anyway.
Yeah, but it's a
Can
good
you
way
like
to get
prepare like my idea, I guess it's like red lines of saying like this is what it should be renamed? Like that. Like
Yeah.
staff would go to them
Yeah.
and say, hey, we think
Exactly.
it should be pro-ad or whatever.
Yeah, we'll put something, I think we need to find out exactly,
Yeah.
because we've talked about streamlining boards before, but I don't really know the process.
We can look at the sustainability board, because they used to be the environmental and
That's right.
Oh, that's a good point.
How do they do it? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Great.
Anything else on this topic? Okay.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, we're getting to the closing stages. We're out of new business. We're moving into items from packet updates. Who has items from the packet updates we want to bring up? Tom says no.
No.
Digital no. Okay. Like it, Tom. Thank you for the communication. I
We
appreciate
didn't
it.
ask
Yeah.
if
Much
Randy
good
had any
decision.
questions though about the last topic.
Oh, we didn't? By we, I mean me. My mea culpa. There's still time.
Okay.
Scott.
I have a question. Weld County Road 26 multi-use trail. It sounds like it was like a 90% or so design. What's the rest of the timeline on that update? Did you say if there was a timeline to get to the next stage of contracting or anything?
so I can speak to Longmont's portion of the trail, that will, the construction that Longmont will be managing.
Yeah.
We're working on putting that out to bid, but we're looking at maybe some staff efficiencies, if it's possible to get engineering to help us project manage that project, then the open space division then gets capacity to do other non-capital improvement things that are on our goals list. So that's where we are right now. We're in conversation with our engineering department to see because if we could use an engineering project manager, open space staff is still there for technical advising, but it'll move the project along more quickly. Longmont's piece of the construction.
Okay.
Can you tell us what that piece is that Longmont's responsible
Yeah,
for
what is?
then?
So the County Road 26 trail is a multi-use trail that will go from Union Reservoir through the Adams open space. So it's and then there's a piece so that's east-west. There's a piece that'll come down from the north-south, and from Mead.
Yeah.
That'll join into the trail, so it looks kind of like an upside-down T. So Longmont's piece is the last eastern portion. So it goes through our Newbie open space, our Adam open space, and then it joins into, it goes through Liberty Gulch, and so involves the railroad and then into the state park.
So is it basically this section from
It's the
Union
bottom
to
section.
where the road is that 26 curves up to like 7? Is it that's
Yeah,
the
so I
section?
believe so. So I'm Sarah Krecha is the project manager from Open Space working on this. And so as we're moving into this Longmont phase, I believe that is correct, but the whole thing, so Weld has been managing the entire project, and now we're kind of moving into this Longmont construction phase. So I described the whole thing, including the Longmont portion, and I think I'm correct to say that it starts at our Newbie and ends at the state park. So the portion going north to south, that's
That's
Mead,
Weld.
and that's in Weld County's purview of the project.
Okay.
And from Union to Newbie then, who's doing that portion?
I believe that's
Oh.
that's the part that's in the Weld. That sort
Okay.
of backwards L is Weld, and then the
The
rest
west
of it,
part is Longmont.
the east
No,
part,
it's
the
That's
east
what-
part is Longmont. It's all in Weld County.
Yeah. But from like Mead down and over to Union Res is all
One thing I can
But
do
the part of
is
our open space is them.
on the roads.
So some water, so from Union, it's really Water Resources has some property along there, and then there's some open
We
space.
toured it.
Yeah, and then we have the Newbie property is the last open space to the east,
and
and
this
then
is
added to the
because it's
south.
under a state grant from Dr. Cog. So Weld got that funding, and so we're partner agencies working together. So Mead is involved, Firestone is involved, working on these portions of the project. But then, part of the decision making is who's going to own and maintain the trail after it's done. So Longmont will own and maintain a portion of the trail, but not the entire trail. And one thing I can do is follow up with a map, so that you can see that, which pieces of the
Yeah,
project.
I've
Maybe
seen-
we could collect seed there.
I was just wondering when we'll see more design, like at what phase does that happen? It's at 90%. Right now, the only map we have is this, which has been that for like 2 years, or whatever it is. Is there a more detailed design at some point that goes out,
Well,
publication or something?
I don't know the details of
Okay.
the Weld piece of the project.
So we should ask them. Is that
No,
Okay.
I can follow up.
okay?
I can follow up with the board with an email. I just don't have,
When they're ready, I'm not saying we need something. I feel like a lot of times we hear the designs move into construction without seeing any of the designs.
okay.
They don't get posted to the website ever, and I'm always interested in seeing the design. And they say like, oh, we're starting construction now. And it's like, well, what are you actually building? And
Yes, and so
Yeah.
to your point, should open space division get a little more staff capacity, doing things like updating our website,
Yeah.
updating our open space management plan. These are things on our list that, we sometimes set aside to keep working on our CIP projects.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully you can convince engineering to take it on.
yeah, and work collaboratively with them to get it done would be great.
Cool, thank you.
Great. Brandy, do you have any items and packet updates? I don't want to forget this time.
No, I don't.
Okay. Thank you, Brandy. I asked Tom already, right? Help me remember. Okay. Thank you.
It's like you haven't slept for a while.
Yeah, a little bit. Sleep deprivation going on. Scott,
I have another question. How are things looking at Union Res now at the swim area?
It's almost full. I mean, I think it's, you said 4 feet, or yeah, I mean, it's,
At 80%.
yeah, so we're basically at full operations at this point, which is good. I mean, when we started the summer, we really honestly didn't think we'd be able to open at all. And once we had the opportunity to get the swim beach going, it took a little bit. There's various reasons, lifeguard shortage in general. Mid-July is everybody in the nation faces lifeguard shortage because everybody quits, goes on vacation, all that stuff, and then they go back to school.
If you guys find lifeguards for us next year, we will double your salaries.
Oh, nice.
But Sarah got them going. I mean, for example, there were 2 lifeguards that would have worked all 40 hours a week all summer. Well, they went and worked somewhere else because they wanted to work at the beach, and so that's 80 hours of time right there that we had to replace. But at this point, we're open and rolling, so it's exciting.
Okay.
And I know like paddleboarding and stuff's still just crazy out there.
Any others? Sam?
Rebecca, no.
I had one regarding Tatiana's project, the Resilient Together project, for an update. Said extensive community engagement. There's plans for upgrades to amenities at Kensington and Lanyon neighborhood parks. And there was some GoCo funding too. So I guess my couple questions was like, is that fully funded? Because it says, and potentially at Spangler Park. Is Spangler Park like not known yet? This is a project that I care a lot about because it's super important.
Yep.
And then the other question I would have about this is extensive community engagement. What does that look like? Kind of curious what we've heard from the public on that. And then my third question would be, I know I'm just going to add more tech, which is, I'm excited. I love this. And like, do we see this continuing beyond those plans, like into future years? Sure. Okay.
So the funding, this was a project that wasn't foreseen in our capital plan.
Right.
This is with ARPA funds, which this is a one-time thing. And we also use Boulder County Sustainability Tax Funds. And then we have a little bit of capital funding for the Kensington piece. So the ARPA funds have to be exhausted by the end of this calendar year. So Kensington and Lanyon, the scope in the Resilient Together project outside of the splash pad, because that's the GoCo piece, so I'll touch on that in a second. Those are under construction now. So she did do a community outreach through the Children, Youth, and Families with Hilda. She did a couple sessions with them, and so they had time where they could like provide feedback. And I think actually it was a lot of, on that piece, it was more the splash pad piece, because this project started with our sustainability team and our community neighborhood resource team. So we weren't involved in the original outreach when they were doing heat mapping throughout the community. As a result of that effort, then they realized they had these projects and these funds and they needed someone to manage the projects. So they brought my team in to manage the projects. Since then, almost everyone on the community neighborhood team have changed hands, so we don't have a lot of the same original players that we that were originally on the project. But having said that, so Kensington's getting amphitheater seating over by the Labyrinth, as well as a shade shelter. So that'll provide space in an area already treed where communities can gather, they can have events. They've done movie nights in the past. That's kind of that angled, slopey part of the lawn there, but just north of the basketball court. So now it'll be more seating between each seat. I think it's 6 feet. It'll be turf. It'll be sod. So you can put out a blanket, and sit with your family and do something. But then up the path, a little bit closer to the main sidewalk that leads through there will be a shade shelter. So you can be a part of the same group, or it could be a separate group that also gets the shade. And then on the north side of the north playground, expanding that a little bit was some swings, which was important to the community as a part of that outreach as well. So extending the playground about as deep as it is now, both poured in place and a nice set of swings. And then in Lanyon, they're doing a misting feature to the east side of the playground. So it won't be a splash pad, it's really a mist. And so it's gonna evaporate and won't have a lot of water that's going into the storm sewer. Once again, I can't recall, I think that was concrete, brushed concrete on that surface. And then having a lot of boulders like around, so more of a natural setting where people can sit and have community time. And then, so both of those will be completed by the end of September
They have to be, right?
in order to pay those final payments. And then Spangler will be the third piece. That will occur in October, and so that's a shade pavilion that is just northwest of the current play structure. So that play structure is really out in the open. You already have that restroom building there, so they're gonna put in a new shade structure there. With all of these, well, Kensington and Spangler, the sites were really limited because of the distance to the ponds. You had to maintain 100 feet all the way around the perimeter as well as the floodplain.
Mm.
So it wasn't a where do you want it, it's where can we do it? And so that's where we've kind of landed on all these locations. For the splash pad, that's the GoCo funds. So we got $350,000 from GoCo, and then we have some of that CIP to put with it. So that one, the design is underway. It doesn't have to be completed by the end of the year. So that one's gonna go into the construction piece. It'll probably open next spring. That'll be a really fun splash pad. That'll be like all the water, and we're working on the size of the water tap right now with the water group to see what we can afford.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
yeah. But they're well underway. I don't know if you've driven by them lately. The parks.
I have not. No.
Mhm.
But great to hear the progress on those.
Yeah, those are gonna be some great projects, and I think they'll be really great for the community.
Okay, so it sounds like if we want to continue this theme of work in future years, it'd have to be considered as part of CIP next
Yes.
year.
That's-
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Because there's no more funding.
No.
Correct.
All right.
And budget's well underway.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we took 27 is when we.
Yeah.
Next year's
27.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next year's
yeah.
27 for us.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I have
Thank
a less important question about the misting feature. Is it just like on all the time, or?
No, there's a button and then there's a
Okay.
timeout.
Okay, that's what it is.
And then it'll be programmed, I assume, like most, that there's hours that it wouldn't be on at all. So, yeah, it's not just misting. The
Okay.
world.
Yeah, like, wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting thing because it's, really sponsored by the sustainability group, and they're asking for water features, and we're like,
Isn't that
what? But
The cooling.
It's the cooling,
Yeah,
it's
the
the heat
cooling.
mapping, and in
And those are
areas
really
where,
hot parks.
the residents may not have air conditioning, so this is their respite, this is their place to go
Yeah.
and seek heat, or seek cooling, so.
Very nice. Any other last call? Okay. Items from staff?
I have one quick one. If
Yeah.
you haven't looked, there's a link on page 19 of the rec update. A little video that July was Parks and Recreation Month, and it has 30 different agencies, and it's kind of a cute thing. We're the last one, so if you link it and you get the gist of it at the beginning, you can go to the last minute because it kind of just keeps going like that. But Sue Ellen and Kristen are our guys in it, and they do a really nice job. So it's just kind of a fun, cool thing.
NRPA wrap up.
Yeah,
Oh,
that should
yeah,
be
it
it.
is.
Got it.
Yep. And it was just kind of a neat thing that came together. I didn't even know about it. They're like, we're going to film today. I was like, what are you talking about? So we did a kickball. We received a golf ball, then we kicked a ball.
Oh, yeah.
And looped back to South Suburban. So it was kind of a fun thing. That's all I got.
Thanks. I have some updates if you guys want to see what's going on. It has been a long time since we've met.
Yeah.
Can I ask for permission to join?
Oh.
There you are. Here you go, stuff.
Thank you. So we do.
Well, Stephanie's bringing up us, because you mentioned org charts. I did get a chance, I was asked to present at one of Harold's leadership pieces on just kind of the reorg and kind of what our groups look like. So I asked every one of the division managers to put together a slide or two about what they do. And actually, you look at it all together, it's pretty cool what this group does. So if you just want to stick that in the packet next time or something, they'll have the org chart on it and then kind of those couple slides.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. So, these are our hot topics. Has anyone been out to the new Boston connector between the Boston Bridge on Boston Street and Sunset? Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just went through it.
So they put up those,
The bollards.
the little flasher things now. So yeah, the little, like
yeah,
they glow in the dark. So I walked out there today. It was kind of interesting because I was walking to Isaac over here, and these birds were sitting there. They were watching the construction. They were just sitting there. And they're just like, this is cool. But it was neat.
You know what those are now too?
It's the one that Jeff likes that I can't remember the name. Yeah. They made his evening school like her. But yeah, so that's there. And then, so this is the Kensington progress, Nick. So you can see here they're starting to build the first section of the amphitheater over here. This is looking from the street down at the guys when they were excavating. And then this is the playground extension where the swings are gonna go. And then in Lanyon Park, they're starting to trench to hook all the plumbing up over to the restroom building, and so the misting feature will be over here. Lanyon's nice because it is also a really shaded park. And then, I don't know why these aren't showing up. We're working on the adult fitness course and the playground replacement, and we've been working closely with recreation on this as well as the senior center. And I don't know why it's not showing up, but see if I can get it to load this way. Well, it's I can send it out to you guys. It was just a 3D image of like the adult fitness equipment, and then the playground. But we took a tour to the Erie. They have an adult fitness at one of their parks, and it was a funny name. I liked the name. What was that park?
Oh, yes.
It was like Peace and Serenity.
Serenity
Park, and it's the most beautiful view of like different view. It was like of the Flatirons. It wasn't what we usually see here, so it was kind of cool. But that's going to be really nice, and so that's undergoing. That's in design, and I have no idea what's going on with that. But that construction will start before the end of the year, but it'll go into 26 before it's completed. So, new playground at Roosevelt. It's also going to be probably our most accessible playground. And so that we're putting some money in for swings such as the type that you can put your wheelchair on. It's like a platform. And so you can swing that way. So a lot of accessible features.
Nice.
So that'll be a nice destination for people. I'm going to skip over to Nino because that has pictures. So the raw water pond, we filled it 2 feet. So this is the pond. And then it's hard to get scale, but that's people. So it's a pretty big pond. And we did a 2-foot test. Tomorrow they're putting the straps on this intake aerating pipe, which will move the water from the pond into the pump house. And once that's strapped down, then we're going to do the final fill. So that's kind of exciting. That's really exciting. And then the playground, they've got the playground installed. That's kind of an older photo. And a lot of the concrete sidewalks are installed. They're putting in irrigation. They're topping it with the soil. Excuse me. And then they're going to come back with the turf and the native seeding and all of those things. So it's underway. It's still per our contract. It's supposed to be complete end of this year. We'll see. It depends on weather and things like that. For instance, today was a weather day just because the site was so saturated. You couldn't do any work. So let's see. I'm going to skip to Fox Meadows and Clover were just pretty pictures. But if you guys haven't seen the art installation at Clover, it's the bike gear with the 2 pedals. You should go out there and see it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I think you shared that last time.
Okay.
It was really interesting.
And then, we did a couple of other things that we haven't really talked about. So Macintosh went through and there was a request to install some courtesy signs, like trail signs that, bikes, skates, and pedestrians, who yields to who. So we installed 7 of those signs around Macintosh, then we replaced the old kiosks with new kiosks, and then some PFD signs. So put some funding into that. And then the last one, we've opened up 3 pickleball areas as long as they use the Gamma Librarian pickleball. And so this is the photo at Willow Farm Park right now. And then there's a box there that the pickleball clubs can use to put up the nets and whatnot. So
What does that mean? If this
it's a
brand?
specific brand, and the picture of it is on the sign.
Jonathan.
That is the ball you have to purchase.
Yeah.
Can you
So
add
they're
it from the city
quiet.
somewhere?
Oh, so they're quiet. Okay,
They're
it's like,
quiet.
well,
Somebody, it's that $1 million idea, somebody did it.
That's,
It's like $1 billion.
Is
David's
there
ex-
an enforcement problem here?
Well, these were
Yeah.
closed,
Yeah.
and so now they're
If we
reopening
start
these
getting
areas.
complaints, then we'll just we'll close them down again. That's what will happen.
But David heard it, or didn't hear it firsthand.
Exactly, it was very quiet. The neighbors that were complaining about noise and stuff, it was funny because Jeff and I walked over to the yard and like, so what do you think? Like, when you start playing, he was like, they are playing.
which park was this?
That
Is
was,
that left hand?
was it left hand? That was a left hand, yeah.
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 I would have guessed.
Yeah, so
It's bizarre because it does feel like someone turned the volume off on something. It's like, it doesn't almost feel right.
Well, I haven't heard them at all running through there,
Oh,
so good job.
Yeah, and we, the pickleball players they don't like them as well as the actual balls, but if it's, you can't play here or you can use these balls, like we'll definitely take the librarian.
Right.
Dedication.
Are there any other items from staff? Thank you
Mhm.
for the update. Jeff had mentioned providing a brief update on just a recap on District 12, but if you're not comfortable with that, that's fine.
I don't have a whole lot more. I think,
Okay.
we all kind of know where council, ended up on that. Danielle and I talked a little bit too about, the last council meeting, there was some ideas about, how perhaps other boards could get more involved in that, but we don't have any new direction from council at this point. There's a study section, really just asking for staff to bring that back at some point. Harold and the mayor were pretty good at saying, it's budget season right now. Harold and others and staff are involved in that. So let's just hold off on that, and Councilmember Popkin was fine with holding on off that. So we will be working internally with Harold and others, see how we kind of get that put back into the system. But
Okay.
at this point, it's just still on hold in the mayor's motion.
Got it.
It's been very interesting to see how different media has been covering that, like different, small papers and things like that. It's like, wow, I was at that meeting, that's not what I got, right? Like, but that's what you got, and I guess I can see how you got that. And I don't know, I thought it was really cool because we're so intimately involved with all of it to see how things can be skewed.
Right.
And so, like, how there's so many different sides, and so, like, a few members of the public showed. I was like, a few. There are a lot of members of the public showed.
And for us sitting here, sometimes it's challenging when you do that too, because Danielle or Davey put on things like, well, that now becomes the new thing that's out there. So we're just trying to be cautious, make sure that right now we're following council's lead on this one.
Right.
It's really interesting.
Okay. Thank you. Items from the board. Hi, Scott.
So I
One thing late.
saw the survey is out for replacement of rhythm at Roosevelt.
Mhm.
Is there any early takes so far? Yes,
People want the same thing.
That's what I heard too. People are like, but I want it still.
So-
it was interesting.
So we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But we recognize, and this is what I always thought would happen too, is that people would want the same thing. Longmont people love going to music and using those resources towards something else like that that's our initial thoughts right now. We have some more ideas that we're not gonna throw out to the world here quite yet, but this will be the last one. The biggest problem has just been finding a spot in September. And we can do it this year, September 6th, but in 2 more years, when whatever, or maybe it's next year, when Labor Day moves back again, then Art Walk's the next weekend and camp. So it's, for example. So we're gonna find something else. But yes, early returns are, people love that.
Okay.
And that's what I expected.
Right. Okay.
Or we can just do.
I had a second one. On the greenways, a number of people have reached out to Bicycle Longmont about what we're calling e-motorcycles. They are non-pedal e-bikes, and they're all over the parks as well.
They're all
So
over the parks, the greenways, the roads, the sidewalks.
where do we stand in terms of enforcement? Because I think people just universally hate them. Like, and it's really difficult.
Yeah,
So it's really difficult to figure out, like, I mean, because in greenways there isn't a speed limit, and then you get onto like a park, and you're like, well, you shouldn't be like busting through a
And
park.
again, they're not a class up to, I think we do up to 2 is allowed under state law, so we
Right.
follow that state piece, so they're not allowed there at all.
Okay.
Then, if we try, we're not gonna have rangers or officers pursuing them, because they're pretty quick and fast, so once you see them, they're pretty much gone. We've talked about cameras, we have cameras, but they're usually wearing helmets, and it's really hard to identify them. We've worked with school resource officers, and we have found some, and we have written some tickets. I'll be honest, part of this is a parenting thing too, because we have met with some parents, and parents have, in a lot of cases, this is just kids being kids. So it's a piece that we're really trying to figure out how we work more with the communities and stuff to help figure this out, because it's a piece for rangers and PD and the park staff. Jim and Crick and Ecosystem Management are doing restoration work, and they're all riding through that. People on the trails feeling unsafe. We were
Well,
out.
they're giving, I'm an avid e-biker, and so they're giving us a bad name.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We're responsible.
Could you put out a press release on the
Stakes.
legality and the stakes?
So, yeah, we have been working with public safety's person on that, Robin, so we can continue to do that.
No answers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it has been a challenge. We were really trying to figure out between cameras and enforcement and trying to catch them, because again, we're just not gonna have rangers on faster e-bikes chasing down kids on.
We had a guy
Oh, yeah.
dirt biking around our neighborhood like a month ago, and we called the police enough that they literally came out and like stopped him, and he has stopped.
Good.
So like, just encourage people to keep calling
Yeah.
public safety too and reporting it, and that
Yeah.
will help.
Yeah, one of the calls we got was actually like on the street side, that someone complained that they didn't have a license plate, and I'm like, that's just beyond Bicycle Longmont's jurisdiction, but okay, I'm sure. But they're like, they're everywhere. I'm like, yes, they ride anywhere, so.
Yeah. Just for you, this is just throw it back. You said there's no speed limits on our trails. It's something that when I had the Ranger, we pushed back pretty hard on, that, if you have speed limits, there's gonna be someone saying that someone went over the speed limit. The
Right.
way they did is, we have Rangers with radar guns
Road
sitting.
bikers are fast too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Occasionally.
I guarantee there's road bikers probably ride it them faster. So I have been resistant to it, much more on the education side, and trying to figure out how we are talking about signing some of the high volume intersection areas, especially to try to make sure people are kind of the ski resort model of, these are areas we have to be really specific, you need to slow down and watch. But
Yeah, and even if it's not a regulated speed, everyone now, I mean, even road cyclists have a speedometer going
Right.
on, so everybody can just know what speed is this section supposed to be at, right? Like if it is an intersection, you should be at like 10 miles an hour or whatever, or and then other areas that maybe open, because there are people who are uncomfortable because they're also walking 5 dogs.
Right, exactly.
And so any speed is, drives them crazy, but there's some sort of, it's tough for us to try to explain that to people.
Right.
It's a courtesy speed, and they don't
Right.
know what that really kind of means.
do they know what 10 miles an hour means? So either if they're walking their dogs.
Well, if they're walking,
Yeah, because it's
they
hard to-
don't, but at least the
yeah.
people who are on the bikes would then be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
say, okay, well, I do go 18 miles an hour or something.
And speed is so, I don't know,
So-
it can be just depending on people's skill level. There's people that are going way too fast when they're 5 miles an hour, because they freak out if I stop running,
Right.
and they're like, like Well, you
maybe
need to be
that's
able to
something
handle
that
your
you-
bike, you know, like, yeah, it's, you know.
In the educational piece, maybe that is it, you know, the safe speed, you know, should be, so the bikers would know that, but I think once you put it out there that this is the speed limit, then people will be calling and they will be assuming that, you know, if someone's over, there should be someone out there monitoring, but I think that's a good idea, you know, what are
Safe speeds,
I-
stopping distance, turning
Right.
distance,
Yeah.
maybe.
So if there's things you guys have as ideas for us, we can definitely,
Okay.
because we are really trying to figure out how to do this in a way that's educational. Ben, do you guys have any other?
No, I mean, nothing special. We here at Collier, the same thing. And again, my wife and I, this is what we do. And, you know, we're very conscious of people. And to me, there's no excuse if you're on an e-bike of any sort, because it's super easy to re-accelerate.
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like, you know, if you're a road bike, you slow down, it like slows down all your momentum. It's very easy just to get going, slow down. If there's a kid or a dog, you slow down to, you know, whatever it is, 5 miles an hour to go past. And it's just frustrating. We see so many people not doing that stuff out there.
Yeah, we gave out.
I don't see that as much of it as I think individuals, or it could be a location. But
I think it's kind of location dependent. We gave away bells for a couple of weekends and talked to a lot of people, and some people really hate bells,
bells
and then
are like
people,
the best deal ever.
and some other people hate you saying on the left, because then they go,
They step to the
you,
left.
You are on my left.
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, if we
I
just do a
see it.
bell, then you know just to move to your right.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, I don't like the bell. Startles me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed
So
to
does
do.
the bike fly?
The sound of a banana
Okay.
peel opening. or
Scott,
something.
that's me. I'm like,
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
I heard you the first time. Oh,
trying
you
to
know, like,
find
I'm
that.
so
I didn't-
scared.
I
You're
didn't
screaming.
watch the interaction, someone says on your left, and the person just like,
Always the left, every single time.
And then you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And the dogs, of course, don't know where it's
They do it when they're 5 feet away, because you can't hear them otherwise, so they're like right there already.
Yeah.
A bell you can do where you're
further
20
away.
yards.
Maybe
out.
you
Yeah.
needed a ding, 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 you know, just.
Exactly.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. 'Cause it is really terrifying when they wait
Yeah.
until they're 5 feet behind you and ding, and then I'm like, I've been holding the same line for 2.5 miles and I haven't stepped out. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. It's more than 9 feet across. I measured it during COVID.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Aaron, I think you had one, right?
I do. It was a continuation onto something that Scott said a million years ago when we last met, and Scott was talking about the underpass lighting and during the day and how it was dark. And I actually put a service request into 2 different agencies, and they say it's resolved, but it's not. And it's still very, very not
And
resolved.
Service Works defaults to resolved.
So that's, this
Yeah.
is a problem, and it does. And I just had this conversation over the weekend with a staff member that I don't know where that gets hung up, but resolve means that we hear it and we're putting, I don't agree with it. I absolutely understand what you're saying.
It's 100%
And I-
Okay.
unusable.
It's on our radar, like, it's on our radar, thanks, that would be, you know, something I would be happy with, or, you know, hey, we'll get to it, like, that would be,
Well, I mean, yeah, the ones that come out on streets will say, like, we have put in a work ticket for the street sweeper to
Right.
go out. That's their
Oh,
standard
do they?
response. But, yeah, but there are so many that are like, this is resolved.
that
And
one,
you're like, no, I'm
and
standing
it's
here,
and it is a high danger one, is the one that's goes under 287. I mean, there just so frequently is someone there, or that has left their belongings there, and you know, kudos to their staff is like cleaning up after that and stuff, but like, I don't want any of those people to get hurt. I honestly don't mind that they sleep there, I just don't want them to get hurt with somebody coming bright light into the dark and
Darkness.
squashing them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was
Great,
that
thank
was
you.
mine.
Yeah.
Please. But left hand over by Left Hand Park, that one is on, so that's good.
Good.
Okay, so we are 2 minutes over time, but if we need to extend, we can do that. We want to just quickly ask Tom and Brandy, Hannah, Sam, anything that you guys wanted to raise?
Scott.
Scott, you're done. You got your two. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
Tom says
good.
no. Hannah says no. Okay. Well, then I think we can move to adjournment then, without extending the meeting.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll
Is there a
second.
second? Oh, wow, look at that. All those in favor? Randy. Tom? You're gonna sit?
I'm just-
Digital, yes.
I'm-
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.